Hi everyone, this is Joy for Honeybee Stamps. Today I'm going to show you how I put together this really super cute beachy summer scene using the Bicycle Builder die. Now here is the die, and I've already die cut all of my pieces, and I'm just going to show you what pieces are what. So this is for the tire of the bike. Then you have the handlebars for the bike. You have the two pieces for that, and then you have the little bike, or excuse me, the basket and the bike piece itself. Now I have die cut the tire piece with the spokes from Silver Mirror cardstock. I die cut that twice. I wanted that to have a little bit of dimension. And then I have that little black circle that goes in the center of the spokes, and then I have the actual tire itself cut from black cardstock. The handlebars are silver and black cardstock, so I'm just gluing on the actual little handles to the metal part of the handlebar. Then I have the bicycle frame itself, and I die cut that 3 times from just like a really pretty kind of lagoon color cardstock. And that I wanted to have some dimension as well, so that's why I die cut multiple pieces. The basket actually is die cut from the Beach Vibes 6x6 patterned paper. I also use that for the background of this card as well. So I'm just going to finish adhering this together. The basket I will glue on a little bit later once I have this attached to the card panel. So I am using the Scallop A2 card frames, the largest one, and I'm die cutting that from this really fun beach scene piece of patterned paper from the Beach Vibes 6x6 paper pad. I'm just going to run that through my die cut machine, and this is going to give it a nice scalloped edge on the outside, which I really think adds to the design of it. It gives it just a really pretty edge and something that's just not straight. Now I have stamped some images onto some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock, 110 pound. I used Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. It is Copic friendly, and the images that I stamped are from the Birds of Paradise. I wanted to have a bunch of leaves and flowers, tropical leaves and flowers that are going to go into the bike basket. Now there is a stamp set that you can use as well with the Bicycle Builder, which is called Riding By. I use the sentiment from that, but there's a ton of flowers in that, and that's more like summery flowers. This I wanted it to feel more tropical, more beachy. So that's why I went with the Birds of Paradise. So I stamped a few leaves. I've got some flowers. Obviously I'm doing greens, pinks. I'm going to bring in some oranges. And this is really just going to fill up this basket. Really super cute. And if you notice, the basket, like I said, was die cut from the Beach Vibes pattern paper, but it was a kind of a black and white stripe. And the basket itself, the die, has the basket weave pattern in it. So that kind of gives you a little bit of indentation, a little bit of dots and dashes that it kind of die cuts into the basket. So even if you did a solid color, it would look like a basket. But I really wanted to keep with the black and white theme. I felt like that went nicely with the beach design. So once I'm done coloring all of these with my Copic markers, I am going to use the coordinating dies to cut those out. So now let's get this scene put together. Just using some liquid glue, I'm going to add that to my cute beachy scene. I love this pattern paper. I just think this is so pretty, the Beach Vibes. It's such a pretty pattern paper, but that background is so cute. Now I did die cut some palm trees, and that is from the Beach House add-on. I felt like this scene needed a few palm trees. I just die cut that from some craft cardstock and some green cardstock, and I'm going to add a few of these pieces on top, which gives the palm tree just a little bit more dimension. Normally I would add foam tape behind these single palm fronds, but I didn't want that to take over. I wanted the palm trees to be in the back of the scene, if that makes sense, and the bicycle to be more in the front. So I'm just going to glue those together. Then I'm going to adhere that to kind of the top part of the card on both sides, and that will look like you're just riding through and the palm trees are in the background. So I'm going to adhere those on. Once I have this card panel adhered to my white card base, I will trim off all of the excess. I don't want to trim around all the scalloped edges, so I'm going to trim around the straight edge of the card base. So I'm going to get those adhered, and then we're going to come in and glue down the basket and get all of the flowers inside. I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape behind this basket. I need to do that because remember, we glued multiple pieces of the bike frame together for dimension. So the basket would be too flat if I glued it directly to the card panel. So I added some foam tape behind that, and now we're just going to start tucking in the leaves and the flowers and get a really nice design. That flower there, I folded the stem back and tucked it into the basket because I want it to look like some of these flowers are hanging over, some of them are standing up, so it really gives this full look. So I'm using liquid glue, I'm using my Honeybee Stamps reverse tweezers, they are fantastic. I'm using some foam tape to give some dimension. And as you can see, I'm just getting them all tucked in and around. And once this is done, it just really sets the scene like you're just riding your bike right next to the beach. You've just went to a beautiful floral shop and got all these beautiful tropical flowers that you can take home. And that was the feel I had when I was making this. Like, this is totally the vibe. This is what I would do if I was living by the beach. So I'm just going to finish tucking the last few in there. And then I'm going to adhere this to my white A2 size card panel. And so I'm just going to lay that down, and then this is where I'm going to do all of the trimming of the excess laying over, which is really good because as you can see with that excess, it makes your card seem bigger, your scene seem bigger. It's not just everything floating in the middle of your card. So now that I've got that adhered down, I'm actually going to use this cute little sentiment from the Writing By stamp, and I'm also going to use the coordinating die with it, but it says "Sending You Joy," which I thought fits perfectly because if you're anyone that loves the beach, this is going to make you feel a lot of joy. So I'm going to use the coordinating die for this. This first one was not it. So I'm going to adhere that down. I'll run that through my die cut machine. I just stamped that with the black ink onto white cardstock. Kept it real nice and simple, and I'm just going to adhere that with some liquid glue directly to the card panel. I'm not going to pop that up on foam tape. I really want the bike to be what's popped up. Now I've got this stamp here, this long stamp here, and this is from the Ocean Borders stamp set, and it's like a bunch of little like seashells, and I'm keeping it really simple. I'm actually just stamping it with using Walnut Stain Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just stamping little sections of this, and as you can see, I need to tape off, mask off a section that I don't want, remove the mask, and then stamp that down underneath the bike tire. And I just felt like that sand needed a little more of something going on, like the little tiny pebbles, the little tiny seashells. But I'm not going to color these. I just kept it simple, and I think it turned out really, really cute at the bottom of the sand on this really pretty patterned background paper. Then I'm going to come in with my white highlighter, add some highlights to the tire. Of course, I'm going to add some highlights to the palm trees, the palm fronds on there, and then I'm going to come in and add some highlights to all of the little flowers, some little dots to some of the flowers just to make them a little more interesting to look at. It just gives it a nice little detail. And then once that's done, this card is finished. And look what a fun scene that is, and super easy to put together. This Bicycle Builder is a fantastic die, and I just think you can add a lot of things into that little basket and make it for any occasion. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching, and I hope that you really enjoyed this project, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.